Good morning children, welcome to the 10th standard English class. Today I am going to take up for you the poem Ballad of the Tempest. So what is this ballad? So you all must be knowing that. So in Kannada we call it as Lavani. And then ballad means it is the narration of a story or an incident in the form of with lyrics. So you narrate that is called a ballad. Here the Ballad of the Tempest, so many times we are caught in the problems. Who will rescue us? So sometimes our friends will rescue, sometimes the parents, the brothers, the sisters. So all of them come to our rescue. But when you are sailing on a sea or a ship, so when you are caught in a storm, so there is nobody to rescue. So when you are traveling on a road, so what happens if your vehicle breaks down? So something happens to you. So immediately when you call somebody, or the people around that place will gather and then they will rescue you from the danger. For example, the vehicle breaks down. What happens? You can go to the nearest mechanic shop and then get it repaired. When you are when the petrol gets over, so you can go to the nearest petrol bunk and then get the petrol, and then you can fill up the thing and then you can move on. Supposing somebody falls sick, so in between you can move to the nearest hospital. So you have hope that somebody will come to your rescue when you are moving. So on the road, but it is an entire different scenario when you are traveling on the ship. So when you are in a voyage, it is completely different. There you don't have any other ship nearby to come to your rescue. There is nobody around you to come to your rescue. So there are no shops, there are no buildings, so there are no hospitals so there to come to your rescue. So you are all alone traveling with some people, so the crew, so you are traveling together and you have to sort out your problems. If some problem is there to everybody, supposing the storm is there, so onto the ship, so when you are traveling, so you have no hope. So when you don't have hope, whom do you hold on? You hold on to the Almighty. So you pray to Him. So that time the faith comes here. You have faith in the God that He is the one, He is the Almighty who will rescue you. So this is a poem where the sailors are going and then the ship is caught in a storm, and we will see who will rescue those people. Fortune favors the brave is an oft quoted statement. Even Columbus in the last chapter, when you see, so he had a lot of faith in the Almighty, but is it true of everybody? So now we will listen to the poem where the sailors face a great peril. So we will see the poem. Before going to the poem, we will learn about the poet. So this poem is written by James T. Fields. He was born on December 31st, that is the last day of the year, so 1817, in New Hampshire, USA. So USA means America, as you all know. He was a publisher, essayist and a poet. So he was a poet also. So we have this poem here, right? A number of his works were collected in his book Ballads and Verses and published in 1880. So his works were collected and compiled in a book. So and he named that book as Ballads and Verses and published in the year 1880. This volume contains the poem Ballad of the Tempest. So this is Ballad of the Tempest, which is taken from the same book. He passed away on April 24th, 1881 in Boston. So USA, at the age of 63. At a very young age he died. So at the age of 63. Now we will move on to the poem. So in the picture, so what can you see? You can see a lot number of mountains, so snow-clad mountains and the greenery you can see. But so when there is a saying which we all know, and then I want you to remind of that. So that is, faith moves mountains. So faith is the one which even moves the hardest of the hardest mountains also. So we should have faith. So this faith brings the confidence, and then you can move mountains also. In the first stanza, it goes like this: we were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. It was midnight on the waters, and a storm was on the deep. So here, we were crowded in the cabin. Here, not a soul would dare to sleep. It was midnight on the waters, and a storm was on the deep. If you see the rhyme scheme here, the rhyme scheme is cabin. There is no rhyming word with it does not rhyme with sleep, it does not rhyme with waters, and it does not rhyme with deep. So here sleep and sleep will rhyme with deep. So here cabin and waters are not rhyming, sleep and deep are rhyming. So the second line and the fourth line last words are rhyming, sleep and deep. So the rhyme scheme in this poem is A B C B. So A B C B. So it is A B C B. Next we will see. So we were crowded in the cabin. So where were they? The people, when the storm was there, so they were all crowded in a cabin. So what is a cabin? It's a private room on a ship. So in the ship, so in the bottom part, so top, the mast and all will be there. In the bottom part there will be some rooms. So it is a private room on a ship or a boat. So we were crowded in the cabin. Not a soul would dare to sleep. Not even one person was sleeping. Why? He could not get the sleep. He was not able to sleep at all. He was unable to sleep. Why? Because it was midnight on the waters. Not only midnight, midnight means everybody will sleep, but it was something else. It was midnight on the waters. So usually on the waters, on the sea, the midnight will be very, very cold. And then a storm was on the deep. This is important. The storm was there. A strong storm was there, and it was in the deep, means it was very, very huge storm. It was a huge storm which was shaking everybody. So it shook the confidence of the people, the storm. So it was so huge that they got scared that they would not be able to see the shore tomorrow morning. They would not be able to go to the shore. So that was the storm. So it was the storm which shook everybody. So when you take the meanings, we can write from bottom to up. Like a ship was caught in the violent winter storm. It was a dark night. The sailors were too frightened to sleep. They were crowded together in the cabin. So this is the first stanza. And then moving on to the second stanza. 'Tis a fearful thing in winter to be shattered by the blast, and to hear the rattling trumpet thunder cut away the mast. So here in this picture I will show you. So there is a ship. You can all see the ship here, and the long poles are there here. They are the mast. So the wooden tall pole sort of thing is there, and then to that the sails are built so that it guides the way. So it gives the direction. It helps in the sailing of the wind. So the sails help in the sailing of the boat. So here we will see the meaning. 'Tis a fearful thing in winter. So it is, 'tis means it is the old form. So they used to write, the poets used to write like that. 'Tis a fearful thing in winter. So it is a fearful thing in winter. What is fearful? To be shattered by the blast. So there was a blast in the ship, and then they were all shattered, lost hope. They were broken. So they were broken because of the blast which was created by the storm. And to hear the rattling trumpet thunder cut away the mast. So to hear the rattling trumpet, they could hear the sounds inside the ship also. So the rattling trumpet, so girgitle sound antivala, so that sound, rattling trumpet, so it continuously making the noise, so that sound you call it as rattling. So you have the rattlesnake also, no, it will have the tail, and then it will move the tail like this, and then that the rattling sound will be heard. So girgitle antivala, when you make the, for making the children so to keep quiet, if they are crying, you use the rattle. So here it was making the rattling trumpet, and then it was as if the trumpet was blowing, so like that. So rattling trumpet, thunder cut away the mast. So there were the thunders and storms. So it was there, lightning, thunder, everything was there. When the storm is there, you can see the thunders, and then the lightning also is there, and it cut away the mast. So the mast is broken now. So let us see, let me summarize once again. The sailors feared that their ship would break apart in the violent winter storm. They heard the cutaway of the mast, which terrified them even more. So this is the meaning of this stanza. Next, moving on to the next stanza, third stanza, we can see, so we shuddered there in silence, for the stoutest held his breath, while the hungry sea was roaring and the breakers talked with death. So here you can see in this poem the ship, so it is moving this side and that side. So what happens when the ship is moving, when the storm is there, the water is rising up and down, the wind is blowing this side, the wind is blowing that side. So we shuddered there in silence. So shuddered means all of them shook there in silence. They were very scared, and then they were shivering with silence. All were very quiet. Nobody was willing to speak also. They were all scared. All were sailing in the same boat. All were in the same situation. All were panicking. They didn't have the hope. They were all scared now. For the stoutest held his breath. So the stoutest means the bravest of the men. So he held his breath. He did not have the hope to speak also. He did not have the courage to speak. He held his breath. So usur katti kutirtivala, like that. The stoutest, the bravest of the person also, he held his breath. Now he is not having the confidence. While the hungry sea was roaring, so the sea was roaring like a lion. So when it sees a prey in front of it, how the lion roars. So garjista itantala. So it is personification, we can say. And the breakers talked with death. So the strong waves which are there, they were as if talking to the death. So they have lost all hope, and then tomorrow they might not see the morning, clear morning they might not see, and then the waves are talking to the death. So that means the ship is going to collapse. And the meaning, so let me summarize once again. They were silent and shook in fear. Even the bravest was frightened. It seemed like the huge noisy waves would destroy them. Then moving on to the next stanza. So as thus we sat in darkness, each one busy with his prayers, we are lost, the captain shouted as he staggered down the stairs. Here when we see, as we sat there in silence, all were silent. They didn't know what to do. So they didn't know, when you are very scared, what do? So you hold on to the God's feet. So you pray to the Almighty, and each one busy with his prayers. I should say each one was busy to their God. So praying to their God. The Christians were reading the Bible, the Muslims were reading the Quran, and then the Hindus were reading they were telling the mantras. So like this, each one, so everybody, so they were doing the religious worships, because they thought that their end has come. There is no hope of seeing tomorrow. So in the end, so they were praying to God. So that was the situation. All were there in one cabin. So light was not there, and then the storm was on the deep, and then that time the captain came. So the captain had surveyed everywhere. So what is the position, whether they will be rescued or not. So he surveyed the position, and then he came back, and then we are lost. So in this picture you can see there is a girl standing, and then the captain is coming down. So we are lost, the captain shouted. So the captain, so he has lost all his hope. The hope was not there. That means we are going to die. So we are lost means the ship will not be saved. So we are going to die. So the captain shouted as he staggered down the stairs. So he staggered. Why did he stagger? Because he could not, he was very nervous. There was no energy in him. So he was very scared, and then he had lost the hope. So that was a pitiful condition, because the responsibility of the sailors is on the shoulders of the captain. So he was staggering down the stairs. So let me give the meaning of this. While the sailors were in the dark cabin praying, the captain came down unsteadily and shouted in desperation that they were lost and nothing could save them. So staggered means came unsteadily. So when you move on to the next stanza, we will move on. But his little daughter whispered as she took his icy hand, "Isn't God upon the ocean just the same as on the land?" So this, you can see the picture here. A girl is holding the hand of her father. So this little girl whispered, but the little girl whispered as she took his icy hand. Why the hands of the captain was icy? Because they were very cold. It was very cold, and that too in the winter season. It was cold. So he has become, the hands were very icy. Isn't God upon the ocean? The girl asked, so very innocently, because she could see all the people crying, some people praying, and everybody was very scared. Seeing the pitiful condition of these sailors, she asked her father very innocently, "Isn't God upon the ocean just the same as on the land?" So like how the God is there on the land, is there not God on the ocean? So she asked. Then the meaning, if you see, at that time, even when the captain lost hope, the little daughter held his icy hand and quietly whispered whether God wasn't upon the ocean just like he was on the land. So a very beautiful stanza where this girl is instilling hope in the hearts of the sailors. Then we kissed the little maiden and we spake in better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbour when the morn was shining clear. Here you can see, then we kissed. Then when she spoke such little words of faith, so this faith was instilled in the hearts of the people, so of the sailors, and then everybody became confident. They started having faith in the God. Then we kissed the little maiden. So this little maiden means little girl, so who was like an angel for them. So all of them kissed this little girl, and we spake in better cheer. What is this spake? Spake is the old form of the word spoke. And then we anchored safe in harbour. So everybody started speaking cheerfully. There was joy in them that definitely we will be going to see the shore tomorrow morning. And we anchored safe in harbour. So the ship was anchored very safely in the harbor. So in the harbor, next morning the ship reached the shore, this one carefully and then safely, when the morn was shining clear. So in the early morning the ship had reached the shore. So when you see this words, the summary of this stanza, I'll read out. Her calm faith in God that he would protect them cheered up the sailors. They kissed the little girl who had instilled hope in them. By morning the storm had passed and they were able to anchor safely in the harbour. So that is what this poem says. And let me summarize for you. Ballad of the Tempest is a poem written by James T. Fields. This poem gives us the message that faith in God can help us overcome problems in life. A ship was caught in violent winter storm. The storm was severe that the sailors feared it would destroy them. Their ship. In the cabin they could not sleep out of fear and prayed silently. Even the bravest among them was frightened. As the storm became worse, even the captain lost hope. At the time, his little daughter held his hand quietly and asked if God protected them on land, would he not protect them on sea? Her faith in God's protection filled the sailors with hope. By morning, the storm had cleared and they were able to reach the harbour safely. So this is the summary of the poem, and from this poem we can expect the extracts. So extracts are very important from this poem. So I have given you the extracts also. So take down. And when you see the figures of speech, we have many figures of speech in this poem, like alliteration, synecdoche, imagery and personification. So what is alliteration? So alliteration is the repetition of the same or similar sounds at the beginning of the words. For example, rattling trumpet, thunder. So here T sound is repeated here. Rattling trumpet, thunder. So T sound is repeated. So that's why it is alliteration. Synecdoche. So it is a part, a term for a part. A term for a part or on the whole. So that refers to something on the whole. A small thing is referred and then it tells about the whole class. So that is a synecdoche. For example, not a soul would dare to sleep. Here soul means one single soul, one single person could not sleep, means that means everybody was, it is speaking of all the persons in the sea, that one single soul, not a soul means one person anta helidre kuda, here it is speaking of the entire people, entire sailors on the ship. So not a soul would dare to sleep. It is a synecdoche. Imagery. So what is that imagery? Imagery means it gives a picture in your mind. When you read the words itself, it gives you a picture. So what is that? Describes experiences by the five senses. It creates mental pictures and emotional responses. It creates details in the minds of the readers. Shuddered in silence. That means everybody was scared and then they feared in silence. Midnight on the waters. So you can imagine the midnight on the waters. Captain staggered down the stairs. So when you are reading out the sentence itself, the image comes to your mind that a person is, the captain is coming down the stairs. Then personification. What is this personification? Giving human characteristics to non-living things. It is personification. So you give the characteristics to the non-living things, like the hungry sea was roaring. So sea is not a human being. So this was hungry. The sea was hungry. So the human characteristic hungry is given to the sea. Here the hungry sea was roaring. So kirchutaitu, garjisutaitu. So that is a personification. And then breakers talked with death. So the water. So breakers means the strong waves. So they were talking with the death. So death ge matartaitu. So that is personification. They were talking. So matartaitu. So can the waves speak? No, right? So they have given, they are personified here. To hear the rattling trumpet thunder. So here to hear keluskonodu alva. So keluskonodu, what? Rattling trumpet thunder. So that is the personification here. Next we will see the comprehensive check. So and then I'll give you the extracts. So these are the extracts. I think if you learn these extracts, it should be fine for you. So we were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. So here the sentence, this is the sentence. Who does the word we refer to? So we refers to the sailors on the ship. Not a soul would dare to sleep. Why was it so? So here the violent storm had frightened everybody, all the sailors, so they were unable to sleep. If you have got all these right, that means you have understood the poem very nicely. What does dare mean? Dare means to be bold or to be courageous. So to have courage. So that is this one, what? Dare. Next one, we will move on to the next extract. 'Tis a fearful thing in winter to be shattered by the blast. What is referred to as a fearful thing? So a violent storm at sea in winter at midnight is a fearful thing. How did it affect the sailors? They crowded in cabin in fear and prayed. So it affected that they were praying continuously to God. What does shatter mean? Shatter means what? Shatter means to break apart. So it means to break apart. So we'll move on to the next extract. We are lost, the captain shouted. Who does we refer to? So who shouted? Captain shouted, we are lost. Now kaldogidivi anta. So we refers to the captain and the sailors. It is not only the sailors here, it is along with the captain. The sailors are lost. Why did the captain say this? So why did he say we are lost? As the storm was so fierce and strong, the captain lost hope and feared that the ship would be destroyed. So the meaning was that the ship would be destroyed. That's why we are lost. How did his daughter react to the situation? This innocent child of his, the innocent daughter of his, how did she react? His daughter remained calm. She was very calm and then asked her father if God could protect them on land, wouldn't he protect them on sea? That is what she asked very innocently. So these words of this, the angelic word, the miracle words, so instilled faith in the sailors. Then we kissed the little maiden and we spake in better cheer. Next extract. Who does we refer to here? We refer again to the sailors. Who was the little maiden? So the little girl, who was the little girl? The little girl was the captain's daughter, as you all know. So why did they kiss her? So why did they kiss her? They were very joyful and they were very confident now. She brought hope to the sailors and cheered them up. So they kissed her. So she instilled faith in them. So that's why they kissed this girl. But next extract, we'll move on to that. And then, but his little daughter whispered as she took his icy hand. Whose daughter was she? So she was the captain's daughter. She was the captain's daughter. What did she tell him? She told him that just as God protected them on land, he would protect them even at the sea. So that is the meaning. And then what was the effect of her words on the sailors? Her words of faith in God filled the sailors with hope and cheered them up. So I hope you understood all the extracts. And then this is a very beautiful poem and then very easy poem if you understand, and then it will be easy. And this lesson mainly can be given for 2 marks question or mainly for the extracts. So learn the extracts well from this, and thank you. Learn well.